Halloween's deadly séance. Was Houdini silenced by spiritualist revenge? Welcome to Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's true crime podcast, and our historical True Crime Tuesday series, hosted by Jay Nickel of Nickel Investigations. I'm Jay, and tonight we're conjuring a mystery that's lingered like a ghost since Halloween 1926. Harry Houdini, the escape artist who defied every trap, met his end in a way that feels like a sinister illusion. A ruptured appendix, or so they claim. But as the veil thins on All Hallows Eve, whispers of murder by vengeful spiritualists grow louder. Did Houdini's crusade against their seance scams provoke a deadly reckoning? Tonight, we'll summon the clues, unravel his feud with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and probe the shadows of a death too perfectly timed. Hold tight, in this cold case, the truth might be the greatest escape of all. Act 1. The Magician versus the Mediums. Harry Houdini, born Eric Weitz in 1874 Budapest, wasn't just a performer, he was a phenomenon. Arriving in America at age 4, he transformed into the Handcuff King, slipping straitjackets, sealed coffins, and submerged tanks like the Chinese water torture cell. Crowds worshipped him, but by the 1920s, Houdini's stage turned to a darker foe, spiritualism. This movement, peddling contact with the dead through seances, was a booming empire of grief and greed. Houdini saw fraud, mediums fleecing the bereaved with fake ectoplasm and spirit voices. As president of the Society of American Magicians, he went to war, sneaking into seances in disguise, exposing tricks like hidden levers and rigged tables. His 1924 book, A Magician Among the Spirits, gutted the industry, outing stars like Mina Marjorie Crandon, whose ectoplasm was mere gauze. He even pushed Congress in 1926 to regulate mediums as con artists. But every debunked seance earned him enemies. Threats piled up: poison, beatings, curses. One chilling seance, led by Crandon's spirit guide, foretold Houdini's days were numbered. As biographers William Kalush and Larry Sloman wrote, spiritualists were organized crime, and Houdini was their most wanted. Act 2. The Clash with Conan Doyle. The stage grew darker with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes creator turned spiritualist zealot. Once Houdini's friend, Doyle believed mediums connected him to his dead son. Their friendship shattered in 1922 when Lady Doyle's seance, claiming to channel Houdini's mother, produced fluent English from a woman who spoke only Hungarian. Houdini called it fraud. Doyle branded him a psychic menace. By 1924, their feud was a public firestorm. Doyle's private letters seethed, warning Houdini's crusade would bring consequences. Spiritualists, backed by Doyle's influence, had a fortune to lose and a history of science critics with poisons like arsenic that could mimic illness. Was Doyle's circle or their allies plotting to snuff out Houdini's light? The air crackled with menace as Halloween 1926 loomed. Act 3. The night the trap sprang. October 1926 found Houdini, 52, battered but relentless. On the 11th, in Albany, a rigging failure during his water torture cell act fractured his left ankle. Doctors begged him to stop. Houdini refused, hobbling to Montreal for lectures at McGill and shows at the Princess Theatre. On October 22nd, backstage, a stranger slipped through the chaos. J. Gordon Whitehead, 31-year-old student with a rap sheet for theft and an eerie fixation on Houdini. Whitehead asked about Houdini's claim that his abs could take any punch. Reclining, ankle throbbing, Houdini barely nodded. Then, like a predator striking, Whitehead unleashed 4 or 5 terribly forcible deliberate, well-directed blows to Houdini's gut, as witness Sam Smilovitz later testified. Houdini gasped, pain searing, but played it off. By dawn, agony gripped him. On the train to Detroit, 104-degree fever and sweats consumed him. Ignoring a doctor's appendicitis warning, he staggered through his October 24th show, the Garrick Theatre, collapsing in the wings. At Grace Hospital, surgeons cut into him, finding a ruptured appendix and peritonitis, a bacterial death sentence in an antibiotic-less era. An experimental serum failed. On Halloween, at 1:26 p.m., Houdini whispered to Bess, "I'm tired of fighting," and slipped beyond the veil. The date, Halloween, felt like a grim nod to the spirits he'd mocked. Act 4. A Séance of Suspicion. The official verdict: traumatic appendicitis from Whitehead's punches, backed by a double insurance payout for accidental death. But the death certificate raised a specter. It listed the appendix on the left side, not the right, and no autopsy was done. Why the rush to close the case? 2013 study in the World Journal of Emergency Surgery calls blunt trauma causing appendicitis rare, suggesting the punches hid an earlier rupture, delaying critical care. But what if the real weapon was poison? In The Secret Life of Houdini in 2006, Kalush and Sloman argue spiritualists slipped Houdini arsenic or strychnine, mimicking appendicitis. Someone were hell-bent on poisoning Houdini. It wouldn't have been very difficult, they note, citing the autopsy's absence and spiritualist poisoning playbook. Don Bells, the man who killed Houdini in 2005, probes Whitehead, uncovering his criminal past and hinting he was a spiritualist plant, though evidence falls short. A 1973 interview by Reverend William Rocher with nurse Helen Mabel Bacon drops a bombshell. Houdini's pancreas was also ruptured, unrecorded, suggesting pancreatitis, a condition arsenic can induce. Earlier, Bess's potassium poisoning raised suspicions of a test run. Anna Thurlow, Crandon's descendant, told the New York Times in 2006 she believes the delusional spiritualists targeted Houdini. Even Doyle's 1924 letter warning of consequences looms like a specter. In 2007, Houdini's great-nephew, George Houdini, pushed to exhume the body for poison tests, backed by forensic expert Michael Baden, citing the botched certificate and biography's claims. Bess's family blocked, calling it a publicity stunt, and legal walls blocked the effort. Houdini's grave stays sealed, the truth locked inside. Act 4. The Ghost of Halloween Past. Skeptics call it bad luck. Houdini ignored symptoms. Whitehead was a reckless fan. Medicine failed him. On Halloween, when spirits supposedly walk, the clues feel cursed. No autopsy, a mangled death certificate, a nurse's hidden report, a suspect tied to theft and a web of spiritualist enemies with poison at their fingertips. Did they, fueled by Doyle's warnings and Crandon's curse, stage the perfect murder? Or was Houdini's final act just a cruel twist of fate? As one historian said, it's an unsolved puzzle, a mystery even the handcuff king might appreciate. Jay Nichol here from Nichol Investigations. Found killers through Ontario's shadows, but Houdini's Halloween demise is a lock I can't crack. Was it spiritualist revenge? Clues haunt us still. Got a tip on this or any Canadian cold case? Be sure to comment. Next Tuesday we summon another mystery. Stay vigilant, stay safe. This Ontario cold cases. The past whispers for justice. Because every case deserves answers, and every victim deserves justice. Subscribe now to Ontario Cold Cases, Canada's true crime podcast. Episodes available wherever you get your podcasts.